All right guys, hey, welcome back to the channel. So for today, I'm bringing you some tips on your triceps. When it comes to trying to make real giant ass meaty triceps, you know, that ham on a bone kind of feeling up on your upper arm, there's a few do's and don'ts that I like to kind of stick with. Now these aren't a black and white do and don't. Everything's a gray area, so you know, take your own experience into account too. But come on with me and we'll get into a few different exercises and work out some tips. Tricep extensions. A lot of people, they like to use ropes, flat bars, easy bar attachments. Personally, when I do anything for triceps, I love doing cable work. I find cables are the best for triceps, in my own personal opinion. The first thing is always make sure that the boom is as high as possible. This way you can always make sure you get the most extension and flexion out of your elbows. Thinking of the function of the tricep is the muscle here on the back of your arm. The entire function of that is just to extend through the elbow. Muscles only do two things. They contract and they relax. We want to try to maximize the amount of stretch that we can get in that tricep first before we extend through. What this is gonna do is it's gonna help train the full range of motion of that muscle. Everybody out there talks shit about guys that always do half squats. Same kind of idea. If you're up here doing triceps and you're just doing these half reps, you're not hitting your full potential when it comes to trying to build your triceps. So in order to do that, to try to get the most range of motion, your starting position is going to be where your hand is as close to your shoulder joint as possible. So grabbing onto the rope, I'll take a step back, and if I try to bring my hand close to my tricep, what you're gonna notice is that there's this forward pull in the rope here. So what I actually want to do is I want to try to align my body so that the cable is actually gonna be working in my favor. So what I do is I come in, I'll pin my elbows at my side, and I bring my hands up to my shoulders. Now from here, I hinge forward until the rope is perfectly straight coming out of my hand. Once it's coming straight out of my hand, I'm aware that this is the right angle. Have my elbows pinned, so again, I'm not rocking back and forth, and then I'm gonna extend through my elbow and out. So full stretch, full contraction. One thing too is as you are using the rope, make sure that through the eccentric part of the movement, you're controlled, coming up. Your hands are gonna get closer together up at the top, and then as you come through, you wanna make sure that they're spreading. Not because you're trying to spread the rope, but because you're actually trying to optimize the movement through your elbow of what the triceps are actually trying to do. To touch on that topic, there is an exercise that actually I try to steer away from as much as possible, and that is an easy bar or barbell skull crusher. On the aspect of your elbows trying to move in one direction, if you are laying on a bench and your hands are up like this, your arms automatically want to go out this way, in whatever direction your arms are trying to face. Now, if you have a barbell or easy bar in your hand, you're forcing your elbows to try to extend and bend through here. That's gonna cause a lot of extra torque on the outsides of your joints, and I know plenty of guys that have had to completely scrap tricep training simply just because they've hurt their elbows so much from doing exercises like the skull crushers. So with any kind of tricep movement, this is one of the big tips. Always make sure that you're able to follow through with the actual motion that your arm wants to extend through. Very important. Now, with that thought process in mind, personally, I like to do most of my tricep exercises unilateral now. So I do single arm. So if I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna do a tricep extension, I'm actually just gonna grab onto the ball here, or I'm gonna use a cuff on my wrist to be able to extend through. And I'm actually going to align my arm up properly with the cable so that as I extend through, it's a straight line all the way through. Okay, so now that I've shown you two different tricep extensions, one through the rope, one through the single arm, we're gonna touch on some of the overhead tricep extensions now as well. As mentioned, I try to steer away from the easy bars and the barbells. I like doing single arm, so I'm gonna show you two more single arm movements that are both overhead. And one of them is gonna be with a dumbbell, just to appease those who really like the free weights. What I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna be doing a single arm overhead tricep extension. Now, the big key with this is to make sure that I am again aligned properly with my joints and my bones to make sure that I'm following through and that the tension is all aligned properly. A lot of this is gonna be based off of your shoulder mobility. I like to go right here And I watch myself in the mirror so I can make sure that my elbow stays pinned, because I don't want to be sitting here rocking back and forth with each rep. I want to make sure that I'm as stable as possible and that I'm extending through the joint. Now, for all you free weight enthusiasts out there, want to see something done with the dumbbell, I'll show you one as well. So, what a lot of people like to do for overhead triceps is they'll kind of sit like so, and they end up rocking their body back and forth a lot. Especially if you got big triceps, you're going to be lifting a lot of heavier weight. What we want is we want to try to stabilize your entire body as much as possible to try to get as much output on that muscle as we can. So what I like to do is I like to actually lean into a bench like this one. So I place my knee up, wrap my shoulder around so I'm braced, and I find the alignment with my elbow, and I extend through. In your triceps, there are 3 separate muscles that all work together in order to extend through your elbow. Now, whenever you're doing any kind of press movement, such as like an overhead press, bench press, Smith machine press, things like that, your short head and medial head actually get a lot of engagement in that. And your long head, which is the one here on the inside, still gets engagement, but it seems as though your short head and your medial head, you never need to actually intentionally target them because they get a ton of work as it is. So you should always try to do your best to always target your long head anytime that you're isolating your triceps. With that in mind, I'm gonna show you guys, this one is a crossbody tricep extension. And so as I'm going through with this, I'm making sure that that cable is lined up with my arm all the way across, and that as I'm coming down to the bottom, I don't know how it is for some other people, but I know with myself, if I have like a small little twist with my wrist here at the bottom, I always feel a little bit more pull in my long head. Now, hey, maybe it's a placebo, maybe it's just because I'm kind of dumb sometimes, it is what it is. But that's okay, this is the way that I like to feel it out. And sometimes, you know, sensation isn't everything, but once in a while it is kind of good to be able to feel that extra sensation on the spot that you are trying to hit. So, when you kind of set up to do the crossbody single arm tricep extension, I set the cable boom up usually around somewhere between my shoulder or my ear height. A lot of it's going to depend on the kind of angle that you want to have with your arm. You'll notice as my elbow raises, so does my hand, because I want to make sure that this cable stays in line with my humerus the entire time as I go through the motion. So one thing that is also super important with this too is making sure to brace yourself and stabilize your body so that you're not swinging around back and forth. I like to hold on to the support beam right over here just to make sure that I'm always at the same distance away from the cable, and then to make sure that I can stay nice and stable throughout the movement as well. Okay, so for those of you that are a little bit less advanced and are just trying to come in and hit a little bit more basic exercises, there's nothing wrong with the standard tricep extension, press down, whatever you want to call it. The main thing that you're really looking for, if you're not going to be doing this with a rope where your hands extend out at the end, is to make sure that you're able to use a bar that is going to fit your same width so that you can extend through and your arms also travel through that straight line. So with me, I'm a little bit of a wider individual because my lats, so I would need something like so. So I match my width on my body, I pull in, tucking my elbows in, and then try to extend down and through. This is about as good as it gets for my body. Now, doing an exercise like this, just because my arms want to bend out, this actually puts a little bit of tension and an extra pain on the inside of my elbow here. So it's a massive rule of thumb. If you're doing any exercise, especially for triceps, but any exercise at all, and it is causing you joint pain, take a look at the exercise and maybe think about scrapping it and just changing it up for something else. Fits your body a little bit better. The most common thing that I see with a lot of individuals in the gym and a lot of coaches is they have this black and white strict mindset where it's just like, no, this is the best tricep exercise, you have to do this, make it work. I can understand the aspect of like trying to hit all ends to make sure you can fit that in there, but ultimately, not every exercise is gonna be good for everybody. So you need to figure out what exercises are gonna fit your body, the ones that you connect well with, and grow the best from. Me, I can't use any straight bars like this. If it works for you and it doesn't cause pain, roll with it. So if you're sitting there trying to do narrow grip bench press, JM press, skull crushers, and that's causing you elbow pain, scrap that shit right away. Talk to your coach, talk to somebody else and see what else you can move in there. Again, I recommend single arm movements. For me, they feel the best. I get the best connection, the best growth, and best comfort. Okay guys, so that is what I have for you today, all about the triceps. Again, try to make sure you get that nice chunk of ham meat on that big bone back here. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next week with another video.